Alright, what's up everybody? It's Neil Dude here. I'm just on the west side right now, making my way over to the surfer statue. It's the memorial paddle out for Doc Scott. So this guy was a complete legend, doctor here in Santa Cruz, delivered tons of babies. He invented Doc's Pro Plugs, the earplugs that protect the ear canal from the wind and stuff. And yeah, he also was really involved in helping out a lot of young surfers, especially back in the 80s with getting down to the contest and driving everyone down there, big busloads of kids. And so he's just a complete legend. So we're coming here to pay his respects. So gonna be a bunch of people down here, and so yeah, it's gonna be a nice way to honor his life. So that's what we're doing here. All right.
Also, it's like they got it. Ke malama o ni hau ua malie amalie pa ka inu vai ke inu mai la na hala o na we I ke kai no na we ka hala no puna ka wahine no kalua no ikila we ai aloha 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 That's perfect. Every wave will whisper Every wave will whisper, yes it will whisper, you are mine, don't ever go away. Here we go. On a lake, with a lightning, we love it.
We want to leave you with this Oli. It's called Oli Aloha. I'll tell you what it is when we're done. It's happy. It's peppy. We like to end it that way. Oh, now na ikahala me kalehuai. Oh, now na ikahala me kalehuai. Do it again. Let me do it again. Now we have a mic. We're live. Like Facebook Live. Okay. We have this Oli. It's called Oli Aloha. So we know Aloha means love, right? So we're going to do this. I'll explain it after, but it's a very happy chant. And we love doing it at any event, any occasion. Be done at birthday parties, it can be done at weddings, anywhere. Just sitting on the wall and staring out into the ocean. You know, it makes you happy, do it. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. O nauna ikahala me kalehuai. O nauna ikahala me kalehuai. E hale me kuano ya kanoi. O ka uno ya e ano ine. E li ane ho i o ka hiki mai. A hiki mai na oi hiki kuno me ke aloha. Aloha e aloha mai. Aloha e aloha mai. So this Oli tells you, because you have arrived, what you brought with you here is love. Basically, that's it. Because of your arrival, because of your presence here in this space, you all but brought love with you. And that's the way it should be. Yeah? Thank you. Mahalo. Ahuiho.
Mahalo.
Wow. Hello. Welcome to Doc Scott's Celebration of Life. And thank you so much for coming. As Kumu said, this brings love. There's a lot of love here and respect. It's so awesome for Doc. Taking care of Buddy, Doc. That was Isaiah Shepard Nelson, great-grandson of Doc, blowing the conch. It starts the ceremony, brings love and energy. Isaiah, thank you so much. That to blow the conch like that in 4 directions consistently is tricky. Brenda said Isaiah's going to blow the conch, and I said, okay. Mm-hmm. That's a difficult thing to do. Well done, buddy. Well done. Randy, thanks so much for Kumu get the liaison, our Doc there. That was Kumu of Kauai, Halu O Mohana Pa Alapa Kehiko doing the hula. Beautiful. Thank you so much. It does bring the aloha. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I'm Bob Pearson, president of the Santa Cruz Surf Club and a great friend of Doc's. As Kumu said, this statue represents the past, the present, and future surfers of Santa Cruz. Today, this statue is Doc. He's got his helmet, and if you look up there, you'll see a cork there. That's what he used to rest his head. Doc was so awesome. He didn't hold back. He came up with such great ideas like the Doc Pro plugs that help people all over the world internationally, from exostosis and saving the ears, including me too, and a lot of my buddies are out here now. We have the lei on him, brings the, and we got a board over there that I see. I just checked it, and I think that looking at it, that has to be early 70s that I made Doc. So
Nice.
that was cool. I think right when Tri-Fins came out, so that was probably 75, actually. I started surfing in 1964, about the same time as Doc. And the other day I was cleaning out a drawer, and I found this patch that we put on board shorts.
What's it say, Bob? What's it say? The patch.
Yes, Ed. It says Steamer Lane Surf Club. And the L in the lane is a seal. And I hadn't seen that in 60 years. I pulled it, I went, wow, look at this. How cool. It brought back a lot of memories. The first person I thought of, which really surprised me, was Doc. And I thought of Doc because he put so much energy into the surf culture, the contests, the people, the clubs. And he was a member of that, and I remember him as a member. And it was cool that I started thinking of Doc when that came out. He was incredibly passionate about surfing and the surfing culture. There are very few people in the world, and I mean this, in the world, internationally, that have put more time, energy, intelligence, and money. He put so much of his own money into surfing and its culture. I traveled the world with Doc, West Coast, Gulf Coast, East Coast, Europe, France, Mexico, Hawaii, Japan, Australia. Wherever Doc went, he left a trail of smiles. Everybody loved him. I was just looking at the trail of smiles everywhere. Everyone just said, he's the greatest guy. He is amazing. He's amazing. He's the greatest guy. Yep, that's our Doc. The Aussies said he was the best Yank ever. Doc is an international treasure. To say he's a Santa Cruz treasure doesn't do him justice. He is international. I'm pretty hooked up internationally with a lot of friends and stuff, and everybody always wants to know how Doc's doing. He passed, oh, so sad. He loved Doc. Everyone loved Doc. At one point, I was rated number 2 pro on the mainland USA, and Doc was the main reason for that. He encouraged so much of us to surf the Western Surfing Association, to play the game, to get into it, to strive for success, to improve, to be better people. He made it so easy for us. He'd ring us up and come pick us up and set us in the contest and do everything to make it happen. If we got hungry, he fed us peanut butter sandwiches. If we got cold, he gave us hot chocolate. He was always doing for us. He was making it so easy for us. He enabled us to be successful, to move on. Doc made my life so much better. I'll truly miss my good friend. I'll miss Doc's smile. I'll miss Doc's yodels. I'll miss his stoke, his passion, his encouragement to get in the water. Hi, Bob, let's go. Bob, low tide's this, let's go. Bob, if we go out now early, we can fit a second surf in later today. Let's go. He was a let's go guy, big smile on his face, and he made my life so much better. They say that the best surfer is the one who has the most fun. That makes Doc one of the best surfers in the world.
Yeah.
I love you, Doc. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you the next speaker. He was entering the pro circuit as I was leaving. He was a top-ranked world surfer. He was winner of the Pipeline Pro. He became known as the California Kid, Joey Baran. Joey, I think the last time I saw you was 50 years ago.
Joey.
All right, that was awesome. And the hula, my granddaughter does hula. I started crying. You know, when the grandparents get the connection, I'm like, oh, I'm going to send it to my granddaughter as soon as we're done with the paddle out. She's going to be psyching. It's going to be so rad. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda, for inviting me up. And last week I got an email from Brenda, who I know from back in the day, inviting me to come up and share. And I was like, I'd like to do that, you know. And, you know, as you get older, your orbit gets smaller, right? Right? You guys understand, your orbit gets smaller. You decrease your orbit. And so when you go out of orbit, it's like, oh man, I was on Santa Cruz, I got to wake up somewhere else and all this stuff. But I was like, I really wanted to come up here. I really wanted to come to Santa Cruz and be here for this. So thank you, Brenda, for inviting me. And it's great to see all my tribe and friends in Santa Cruz. Love you guys so much. When Bob shared, he said that Doc Scott's, his orbit was based, his center of gravity was Santa Cruz, but his orbit went around the world. And I would really agree with that, because when I came to Santa Cruz the first time, it was 1975. I was Joe Baran. I was in the boys under 14 division of the WSA. I was really nobody. Midget Smith brought me up here with the San Clemente guys. I lived in Carlsbad at the time, from District 6, you WSA people remember. District 6 was San Diego. And there's three things I remember about my first trip to Santa Cruz. One, I got dead last in my heat. My leash broke and my brand new board got smashed up. So that's a NorCal welcome to a SoCal guy. We get it. All right, there we go. Let's get that all right. Yeah, that's how it works around it. That's how it works with the lane right there. Yeah, jump around. You're going to be probably mad, but not here, man. What's pretty classic about this story is to say I lost to Tom Curran. And he's like 12 years old. I'm like, that kid's pretty good. Yeah, preview of coming attractions. The third thing about that trip, though, was Doc Scott. That's Doc Scott. When I came to Santa Cruz was Doc Scott, and Doc Scott was Santa Cruz. They went together. And, you know, he's kind of like the nutty professor. He always had these innovative and creative ideas. And he liked me, and he would always talk to me. So we'd be at WSA contests after that first meeting, and he'd be like, Joe Baran, you're a little ripper, you know, and like, here, put these in your ear, you know, that kind of stuff. you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I'm not sure about that, you know. I wasn't sure about the plugs, so I saw Sean Thompson wearing them. Sean Thompson was the smartest person in the room. If he's wearing Doc's Pro Plugs, then I'm like, I have to think about it. But so then in 1978, I was the best amateur in WSA, and I got invited to the World Amateur Championships in East London, South Africa. And we were a motley crew. I was the #1 junior, and they put us all together. And this motley crew with long hair and these wetsuits that said USA on the front, they put Doc Scott in charge of us. I was like, man, that's a NorCal concoction, you know. And Steve Colton had the best result, the Santa Cruz guy, but yeah, Steve was awesome, man. Yeah, like he ripped what goofy footer doesn't rip backside from Santa Cruz, and it was a right point break, and he killed it. But Doc Scott, I spent a whole week, the last week of my amateur career was with Doc Scott, tormenting him in a hotel in East London, South Africa, and he was so good about it, and he just, I don't know, he just made it, he made you stoked to be a surfer, and I remember that so much, and his stoke for life had a definite impact on me in that season, from the very first event here in Santa Cruz till that event at the World Amateurs. When you go to the event here, you'll see a picture of us, and that's just the way it was in 1978. And Doc Scott had a huge influence. Later on in 1985, when I started the PSA US Pro Tour, we came here, and there's just so much that was miraculous about that event. not to mention the permit at the last hour. And Anthony Rufo just crushed it. It was incredible, his performance out here. He beat all the guys, Barr and Lamas and all those guys. But one of the things, my brother was a judge on that panel, because when you're on a tour, you need to find some judges. So I hired my brother, like, dude, just, this is good, this is bad, figure it out, you know? And so I saw my brother this last week. I said, hey, I'm going to Santa Cruz for Doc Scott's paddle out. And he goes, hey, he made the best witch's brew for the judges. I'm like, what are you talking about? I go, yeah, he put coffee and hot chocolate together, and it was like rocket fuel, man. He put us on the moon when we were in the judges tower. So it's kind of cool because, like, my brother's sharing that story of Doc Scott, and we're just San Diego guys, you know? It's really cool. It's really, really special. And the legacy of Doc Scott in the Santa Cruz community, the NorCal surf culture, and again, the entire surf world, it's, I was thinking about this, it's really hard to match. You know, what Bob was saying is true. It is really hard to find people whose legacy and impact is that far reaching in the culture of surfing from the 60s to 2020. It's very unique. And in the Hall of Fame of surf culture, Doc is a first round ballot entry. He truly is. So I thank God for that and his influence on my life. And so, you know, I've been here as a competitor in the WSA. I've been here as a competitor on the U.S. Tour. I've been here as a contest director. I've been here as the coach of the U.S. surf team twice when I coached Nat Young. Kiana's here. Good to see you, girl. And, you know, I was even here like 7 years ago with all the boys. And I've been here that way, but my being invited here today is a citizen of humanity, and I'm a minister. I'm a pastor. Many of you know that. And so I want to just kind of close with this one final Santa Cruz story. On Halloween Day, 87. It's Halloween 87. I was here for a PSA contest at Ocean Beach. And like so many of you, I got pummeled. It was like 12 to 15 feet, and I almost drowned. I literally almost drowned. It was worse than any beatdown I ever got in the Duke, the Smirnoff, any of these events, Pipeline. It was the worst beatdown ever. And I've been asked to share my testimony, which wasn't much at the time, at a small church in Pacifica that night. So I shared it. I didn't feel like doing anything like that. Honestly, I do not feel like going to church right now. I'm pretty upset about losing to Jim Hogan again. And but I did, and I went to that, and I stayed at a house in Santa Cruz that night. It's easy to remember because it was Halloween, 1987. You can't get lost even for someone over 60. So it was Halloween, but I did get the year wrong. But it was 87. And but here's the thing: I woke up that morning, and I drove back to Southern California. But I woke up that morning, and I made the second most important decision of my life. Because I already committed my life to Christ earlier that spring, and I was figuring that out. But that was the day I committed to be a pastor. See, I've been asked to be a pastor, an intern pastor, about a month before. I'm like, no way. There's just no way Joey Perrin's going to be in ministry. We're just trying to get in the door, you know? Like this is no way. No. But after I almost drowned at Ocean Beach and had a favorable speaking, I just woke up that morning, and it was here in Santa Cruz that the California kid, you know, woke up and thought, man, I am terrified. But, you know, you paddle out a big pipe, you paddle out by yourself at YMA, you know, I'm called to ministry. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is the next step in my life. And that was, you know, almost 38 years ago. And I made that commitment to go into ministry and be a pastor. So I think it's appropriate to be here another time in Santa Cruz, not as a WSA competitor, not, you know, as the director of the U.S. Pro Tour, and not even as the coach of the U.S. Olympic surfing program. I'm Pastor Joey, your friend, your brother in the surf community, from the surf culture down south, you know, the tribe down south. And I love God and I love you. And I'm really grateful to be here. My mom would be happy because that's St. Joseph's, and she named me after St. Joseph. I was born March 21st. I'm like, Mom, you're still watching over me, you know, like small world. I'm like, I take pictures in the stained glass window with St. Joseph in there. I already did it, bud. I already did it. I was just like, man, you can't make this stuff up. I didn't even know. St. Joseph's watching over me. Here we are, 64 years later, you know. But one thing really the final thing I want to share with you is, in his later life, Doc Scott in his 70s, who had this incredible life, he realized there had to be something more to it. And he did end up asking Jesus Christ into his life to be a savior. And that was a great decision. And let me tell you, in ministry, that's really rare. Like, you know, they say like most people make their decisions about philosophy, worldview, or faith, or religion, usually in their teen years or maybe early 20s. So it's very unusual for someone to have a pivot shift of that nature at that juncture in life. It's quite unusual. And it shows us that Doc knew for all that he ever accomplished, there was something more to be had. And he made that decision to give his life to Christ. And for me, I made that decision to serve Christ in this community. And that someday he woke up and he was a different person here in Santa Cruz. He was still Doc Scott, who we love and we honor, but he was Doc Scott who had made that decision to give his life to the Lord, which was a beautiful thing for him and a really good ending. So as great as his legacy is for time, that adds to his legacy for eternity. And here's a funny thing about when Joey Brand, the California kid, is in 17, he's getting older. You know, I've pastored churches for 35 years, and when you're young, they think you're too young. Where'd you go to seminary, boy? You know, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, people despise your youth, and then next thing you know, you're 60s, you're not doing the weddings anymore, you're not doing the baby dedications, you do all the paddle outs. You know what I'm saying? Like, my assistant gets called for all the weddings and the premarital counseling. I'm like, I know something about marriage. I've been married 37 years. Like, no, we don't have to. You're a boomer, you know. A millennial will tell us what's going on. So this is who we are. This is who we are. I'm born in 61, man. And here we are. And we've lived our lives. And, you know, Doc made that decision. And when we do a paddle out, it is a celebration. It's a celebration of life. It's taken me 10 years to not call these things memorials because the millennials rename everything. So celebration of life is a good one, and I appreciate that because it really is a celebration of life. But in celebrating the life that Doc lived in time, space, and matter, we want to celebrate the life he received through faith in Jesus Christ for all eternity, because we always talk about the person and then we talk about eternity. That's what ministers do, if you don't know, when they come to an event like this. Just so you know. And so, you know, Jesus said, I am the resurrection to life. And he who believes in me, though he dies, shall live forevermore. Do you believe that? And I came to a point in the spring of 87 where I did. And I was willing to change my entire life. Listen, let me tell you, surfer, something. In 1988, Surfing Magazine listed everything that was out. All right, listen, Kiana, get this one. Out. Bud, out. Colored wetsuits, 4-fin surfboards, and Joey Brand. I was the only person on the list. Can you believe it? I'm like, no one else is out? Like, not Mark Richards or somebody? Just Joey Brand? Isn't that epic, Brenda? But I crossed that line. I went for it with Jesus, you know, and that's what they thought. But the crazy thing is that time works for you with faith. It all comes back your way. So Ian Cairns wants me to do his wedding. Jimmy Hogan wants me to do his wedding. They want me to comfort them in bereavement. And I get called to things like this and paddle outs. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But my confidence in helping people step into eternity for 35 years, because, I mean, I do graveside with a family of 3 people and the son and the 7-year-old daughter and a small casket, you know what I'm saying? It's just, this is the real world of Joey Brand. This is real life. This isn't Fight Masters or Surfing the Duke with Michael Ho. This is the real deal. And I always, you know, I show up and I got to give hope, but I'm not manufacturing hope. I'm giving true hope. I know this hope that's an anchor to my soul. And so here's the last thing I got to say. They say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Okay? Like, you're going to invest in the stock market, probably should have done it 20 years ago. They say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. But guess what? The second best time to plant a tree is today. It's today, because Joey Brand can't change anything in the past. But I have today, we have today, and we have our future in front of us. So I'd like you to be encouraged by the legacy of the life and the faith of Doc Scott, and that claim of Jesus, that he is the way, the truth, and the life. And we don't need to fear death. I am bold. I was bold with the Hui. I was bold with the tour. I was bold with this, not as bold with Santa Cruz locals, but I was bold. I was scared of Waldemar and those guys, Vince Collier. Those guys terrified me, my goodness. You better believe in Jesus if you're going against those guys. And for real, man, you like it. But I was bold, and it's like, Joey Brand, I have a confidence in my life, and I have an assurance in my life. I've buried a son. I've raised sons. I've lived this life high, low. I've been the best coach in the world and the coach of the worst team in the world. I've won the Pipe Masters. I've gotten last in the Pipe Masters. This is life, testings, trials, tribulations. But through faith in Jesus Christ, you can have triumph. And that's why I embrace every day with purpose and vision. And I hope today you will be inspired to do the same. We can't plant the tree from 20 years ago, but you can plant it today. And the Bible says today is the day of the Lord. So I hope I've encouraged you. Thank you for coming. Let's put our full suits on. Let's go out there and throw some water in the air. Let me say a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for Doc Scott's life. Oh my goodness, Lord. What a legacy, a seed sown for decades in probably almost every time zone. Well, he maybe didn't go to Antarctica, but probably all 7 continents apart from that, Lord. Just it's amazing where he's been and what he's done. 97 years, a rich, full life, and we thank you for that. Thank you for his children and his children's children. Thank you. And thank you for his tribe here in Santa Cruz and his tribe worldwide. We pray you bless the family. I pray you bless the city of Santa Cruz. I pray you bless future generations of Santa Cruz for a future and hope and all the good things you have for them. Keep us in your hands, Lord, as we celebrate Doc's life in the water. May we just go home with joy and just excitement and passion for our own life. That same passion that Doc gave us, may we have that same passion no matter how low of a valley we're in or how high of a mountain. Would you just give us passion for life, and we know that you're the one that will do that for us as we look to you. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Love you, Santa Cruz. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, I'm fired up.
Yeah.
Surfer Joey, Pastor Joey, your words are awesome, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you for making the trip up here. Yeah. We're trying to stay on schedule. We have a little time for an open mic. So if there's anyone who would like to step up and say a few words, now's the time. Keep it short, please. And as soon as this land ceremony is over, I'll say a few words about the paddle out, some instructions. Anybody want to step up? I fractured my hip. I have a hard time walking. Come to me.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm Scott Campbell. And in 1998, the first U.S. freedive team was formed. And I tried out. Darn it if I didn't make it. So we were off to the first World Championships the United States ever went to. Doc Scott wrote the ticket for it. Every member of that freedive team went carte blanche. We stayed in Sardinia, Italy, at the hotel right at the dive site, and we dove. We did okay. The Italians did it that year, but the next year we went to France. Doc Scott took care of everything, and we did okay there. And then we went to Spain, and we did okay there. But Doc Scott pocketed everything that we needed and took care of us, and I so appreciate that. Brenda made the wetsuits, and then we went to the Red Sea. Doc Scott took care of that. And we finished in Hawaii at the Hawaiian Open, and Doc Scott took care of that. Brenda, thank you so much. We miss him.
Thank you. Anyone else? A few words? Yes, step up. Thank you.
I'm Doug Nielsen, and thanks for mentioning Steamer Lane Surfing, because I was a sergeant at arms. The Steamer Lane Surf sergeant at arms. What the hell is a sergeant at arms? I think our job was to beat off the locals at Cowles Beach who tried to kick out on us all the time, coming from Gilroy. Cowles. So many memories. It was probably 63 when I started. Doc was our next door neighbor, Brenda, Leslie, Olivia. Such incredible memories of them and the family and Doc. But one of my favorite stories, one is Doc was he spread himself pretty thin, as we all know. I mean, he was the doctor of the football team at Gilroy High. And I played football, despite the size. But the game did not start without the doctor showing up, who would take care, of any injuries, right? Doc, probably 50% of the time, was late. The game, the visiting team was going, when are we going to start? Well, we said, just give him a couple minutes, he'll be here for sure. And all of a sudden you saw the Rambler just going about 90 miles an hour, skidding in the dust, surfboard stacked on top. He's in his wetsuit. Okay, guys, we can start the game. Doc's here. But he found time for so much. He spent time. I'm here representing, a couple guys, Paul Madelich, Jeff Byers, and I got a hold of them, and I haven't talked to them in probably 40-some years, and it just brought back what Bob meant to all of us. I mean, it was amazing. The joy, all the words that have been discussed. I mean, he spread it to everyone that he got in touch with, that he touched. And he was just a marvelous, friendly, funny, wonderful guy. And I just have the greatest thoughts of him and his family. And I'll never forget him. And unfortunately, Olivia called me up a couple years ago and got to see the doc, before he left us. And I just saw the light in his eyes. I mean, he remembered me, and he remembered all of you. I'm sure he just would never forget anyone. He's just the type of guy he was, and I thank you for this time.
Thank you so much. I see Mikey D out there. Mike, thanks so much for always being here filming stuff. You're always here, always filming stuff. Yeah, Mike. Thanks. Michelle.
My name's Michelle Juneau. I moved here in 1970 to get a job shaping surfboards with the Overland brothers out of the west side here, where the house shop is right now. And there's nobody here. I mean, there was nobody here. We could come down to the lane in the middle of the week and there'd be nobody out. And everything was cheap. And so I moved up from Southern California, took 3 boards, piled them on top of my 55 Chevy and drove here. But one of the first people I met was Doc Scott. And he was so cool. He was like, he goes, hey, do you want to judge this WSA contest? Sure, I've never judged a contest before. I said, sure, I'll do that. And he invites me to his house, he feeds me, puts me in the sauna, warms me up after surfing. And I was just crying because the guy was so unreal. He was so hospitable. And his family, Red, it's so good to see you. It was just a dream time. And now, the world's a lot bigger. The world's a lot different than then. But the family type of vibe that he had to welcome people into his house, if you heard the testimonies, is so true. It's just so true. And he was a surf addict. He was a surf addict like most of us, but he wasn't a selfish man. He was a giving man. He was a hospitable man. And he's known around the world, like you heard. So I want to thank Joey. Love you, my friend, brother in Christ, for proclaiming the gospel. Thank you very much. And I can't wait to get out in the water and celebrate his life like everyone else here is doing. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle Janode. Thank you, buddy. Craig just said, me.
Aloha. So I'm Brenda's husband, I'm Craig, and Doc's my favorite father-in-law. It was a wild ride, and I just want to share one moment. He asked me to drive a busload of young surfers we call Groms down to Trussell's Beach. That's down around San Diego. And he had purchased, maybe along with a couple other people, I don't know, got like a 50-passenger school bus, all painted white, and on the back panel of it was a full-size picture painting of Mr. Natural in a full strut. So Mr. Natural had that long beard and the white tunic, and everything was flowing. Anyhow, on the way back, we're still in San Diego, and it's just all these surfer kids, all under like 14. You know, the Wormhout brothers, Daryl Flea, and just endless. They're all hanging out the window and laughing and mucking it up, you know, how bus trips are, right? I get pulled over by the CHP, and he comes up to walks up to my driver's window, and he says, you know, insurance, driver's license, and registration, thank you. And I said, well, I gave it some thought, and I said, well, I can definitely give you my license. As for the other stuff, I don't know anything about any of that. But my father-in-law owns most of this bus. I don't know about all of it. He goes, well, you better get out. You better go. I can't get out. He walks around, and I do that bar handle thing, and it opens out the passenger door, and he looks in and sees that my driving leg is a full leg cast. And he just grabbed his head and he goes, you know, there are just too many violations here. And I don't feel like writing all those. So get the hell out of here. Don't come back to San Diego and don't look back. So that was Dr. Scott's, you know, that was his thing, and I was just helping him get the Grom Zone down to the surf contest, and it was unforgettable. And those kids during that whole altercation with the CHP never let up. Okay, thank you. Aloha.
Thanks, Craig. Good story. We still have a couple minutes left. Yeah, dog. Skin dog. What's up, bud?
Oh my gosh. Like all of you, Doc Scott touched every one of us in a positive way. He changed my life, set me on another trajectory. I lived 2 blocks away. I was poor, but we had surfing. And I was 11 years old, and I was riding my bike, got a BMX bicycle. I thought it was cool when I rode down here and watching the contest. Doc was having a contest. And he was calling all these names, and no one was coming up. And he needed another Menahuni to do the contest because there was only one kid, and it was like 8 foot, and that's why no one showed up. And he saw me, and he's all, hey, you got a surfboard? I'm like, yeah, I got a board. And he's all, go get it. And I'm like, oh, I have no money. I had not enough time. I had a million excuses, and he just wasn't having it. He's all, go home, get your board, get your bike, and come right back here. I got you covered. And that day, he took a spectator and put him in the court. And that changed my life because I was so shy and so embarrassed to like go, you know, not do good. And he wasn't having it. And afterwards, he came to me, he's like, well, you don't do contests to win. You do contests just to become a better surfer. And he just, boom, my mind was blown, and that was it. I did every WSA. We traveled around. He was so positive. He never, you know, running contests is actually a horrible position because you get a lot of stress, and he just poured off his back and was smiling, making cocoa for everybody. And I guaranteed he's got another 100 stories in the park car in this crowd right now that he changed him in a positive way. And I'm just so stoked I met him. I'm stoked I met, you know, Bob Pearson and the Heidmans and all the guys that kind of roped us little troublemakers in and made us into better people, and we're doing our best to do it to the next generation. Thank you.
Yeah, I can.
Great words, Doc. It's amazing how many stories there are out there about Doc. Yes. Yeah, yeah, come on up. Come on. And if we had a couple days, we could almost fit everybody into all the stories. So, yes, Noah. Thank you.
We love you.
Love you. Johanna. I wasn't planning on speaking, so I don't really have anything polished, sorry. Docky style. But it just kind of brought me back to when I was 9. My grandfather brought me down to a USSF surf contest at Scott Creek, and it was pumping. Like, the beach break was so gnarly, and it's easy to go out, it's harder to come in. And I remember I was out there and I couldn't get in. I was so scared. And my grandfather, he noticed that I was out there for a really long time. And he paddled out and he like coached me in, and he was so patient. And I was second guessing him. He's like, no, you got this. You know, we're just gonna go with the pulse, the beat of the ocean. It's gonna let up. We're just gonna wait and be patient, and we're just gonna flow it in. And we did. We finally made it to the beach. And when he got older, he would surf, and he would wait for somebody. He'd ride his bike, and he would wait for someone to take his board down the stairs. And someone was always there. And he would always wait at the end of the stairs, and someone would always be there to carry his board up. Every time that I would ride my bike on Westcliff, I always had an eye on the ocean to see where he was, because he was always out there, whether it was big or small. And I'm like, oh, I'm worried for you, Grandpa. And I would always carry his board up, and I'd be, you know, dry clothes and his wet surfboard, and carrying it up like the stairs at Peloton. And he'd always give me a kiss on the cheek and was just like so stoked. And like, that's like, I think that's why we're all here, to like bring in that stoke that he had. So thank you so much, and we pay it forward. Yeah.
Yeah, Noel.
Yes. Nothing is better than heartfelt stories. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming up here.
I'm here to I'm just going to represent the surfer in the community. I'm not famous. I didn't go very far in competition and whatnot. But as a surfer of this community, I just wonder, Doc Scott gave so much to us all the time. And one of the things he brought was his beautiful spirit. I never, if anyone here can remember Doc being cross or unhappy or negative about anybody else, raise your hand. Never happened. Then the rest of us, one of the things that Doc Scott, I keep calling him Bob Scott, did was he would look in our ears for free with his whatever that scope is. How many people got their ears looked into and got to see what it was like inside there? He never charged a dime for that. And I know that if you'd gone to a doctor about that, it would have been a ton. The other thing was, how many of you, I don't know, he always would force his earplugs on me. You're not wearing your earplugs. Here, get some earplugs. How many here got free earplugs? And all that gear. He was a beautiful, beautiful man. He loved to give, and we loved him back. Thank you.
Pete Ogilvie, thank you so much, buddy.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Casey. I came here in probably the late 80s, early 90s. My mom had passed away on the North Shore of Oahu. And Doc was one of the first people that kind of took me in. We had this weird Hawaii-Santa Cruz connection.
And your family.
Yes, so Doc's daughter is my Aunt Leslie, and she married my uncle on the North Shore of Oahu. And anyhow, I just want to say he was an amazing, amazing person. Just like we all know, I had a story of like one of the first times he took me surfing, and I was telling a few people. I have a friend out here, Brandon Wint. He reminded me of the story, and I was thinking of the same story today. And basically, he took us surfing at 3 Mile, and Brandon reminded me today. He said, you know, that was the helmet he was wearing when he took us. And this was like, you know, my early 90s. And we go down to the beach at 3 Mile, and Doc's like, all right, guys, it's me and my cousin and Brandon. He goes, you guys, I'm gonna go surfing, and be safe. And he pulls his cell phone out. It was like the first cell phone I'd ever seen in my life. It was a giant brick. And we're just sitting there looking at him like, Doc, we don't know how to use this thing, but okay, you know, whatever. And so we get out there and we're cruising, and Doc went surfing, and that was kind of my beginning of my introduction to Santa Cruz and to this amazing family that has been extremely generous to all of us in this whole community. Brenda gave me a job when I was a kid. She drug me up and down the coast, you know, and just the same things that Doc did. All of their family is a reflection of that. And he was truly one of a kind. You know, J-Bay, Shelly, everybody, all of you guys are amazing people, and we're grateful for every little bit of Doc that he impacted so many of us. And he was just a really cool dude. It goes all the way back to like my dad's generation in the 60s here, and it's like, I don't know, as a doctor, you know, he probably countless things, you know. So it's a cool day and a great time to remember him, and I'm sure we all have stories and can reminisce later, but yeah, he was an awesome human being, and I'm thankful and feel blessed to have gotten to know him and all of his family. So thank you.
Doc definitely had an influence on a lot of people, it's obvious. Rimbone.
My name's Rick Partridge, and as near as I can tell, I know I started surfing before Doc, but we were both here in Santa Cruz in about 1963. Brenda, could you corroborate that? When did you start surfing out here? Anybody know? Anyway, this is an interesting story I have about how energetic this Doc was and how he just did not give up. We're down at WSA contest. I was traveling with him. We're down in Ventura. Here comes a perfect swell for Ventura Pier. Well, guess what? It's 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. Holy cow. Poor kids are getting washed through the pier. Total danger. So they moved it up to Rincon for the finals the next day. So I'm staying with Doc. I'm in Doc's program. If you can imagine who has ever been going with Doc in Doc's program, it's a rough one to follow. So here's what happened. We're drinking, we're eating, we're drinking. I'm going, man, we got to get up early tomorrow. I got a final tomorrow at 10 to 12 foot Rincon. Whew! And I'm looking at my watch, and I see Doc, and I go, hey, Doc. Of course, we're putting our beers down. I go, we got to get up early. We got to get up around 6 a.m. or something like that. And can I get a ride with you? And he goes, no. He says, I said, we should be getting to bed. I'm trying to herd him to bed. Go to bed, Doc. He said, you know, I got to get up about 4 in the morning and go look at all the different surf areas that we could have the contest. I go, no, they're going to have it at Rincon. But, oh, no, you had to get with some of the directors, and they were all going to check all the areas. I really, God's name, why? But I go, but Doc, it's almost 12 midnight. You're going to get up in 4 hours? You surfed all day? You're going to be wasted. I'm not doing it. But, oh, no, Doc was going to do that. It's just his unboundless energy and enthusiasm. Didn't have a stop on it. And I tried to look out for him. Come on, Doc, come in my bedroom and go to sleep. Just go to sleep. But he wouldn't do it. And by golly, we had the contest at 10 to 12 Rincon the next day. There was Doc, and they'd been up at 4 a.m. checking everywhere. And contest went just fantastic. And that's the boundless energy of Doc. When you don't think you could go some more, be like Doc, go some more.
Woo! Rimbone, thank you so much. Yes, come on up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jean Kunkel, and I feel like I have to represent the medical part. I was a new nurse at Dominican Hospital, and this one doctor would just come in, and he would be like all sandy and like wet, and I'm like, whoa, I'm kind of a cool guy, you know. And I'm thinking, wow, he probably, you know, what did he do? Just get out of the water? And yeah, he had just gotten out of the water. So he would make his rounds. He was an excellent doctor. Everybody loved him. We really honored him at the hospital. He would always go to all the meetings, and he was a lifelong learner, constantly wanting information and working with Dr. Hetzler, with years. It was and then I had the pleasure of meeting his lovely wife through water aerobics,
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
I want to thank for all the mothers that's children benefited from Scott, giving him their earplugs, checking their ears. We all loved him, and he was wonderful to all of us. He made sure we knew when the contests were going to start, especially the WSAs, and would remind us that we're to have our children there and what time. We all love him. I'm Homer Hennard's mom, but all the mothers thank him. Julian's mom, ourselves.
Yeah, Mom. Yeah, Homer. Oh, very good. Very short. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leslie Scott. He had to say that helped me while I was growing up. We all go through some hard times. He'd say, greatness comes not from your successes, but from rising from your failures. So I always said, I'm going to say that if there's times to serve it. I'm a little out of it. I was up pretty late making ladies. I didn't do all the ladies. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Happy birthday, Daddy.
Thank you so much for stepping up and saying that. Okay, we're going to end the land ceremony, and what we are going to have is the water ceremony, the paddle out. We're going to go about 50 yards right out here. The wind isn't really on it yet. There's no waves, so it's going to be easy to do. We're going to be in about 6 feet of water. We're not going way out there. We're going to form a circle. And so let's get everybody together in a nice tight circle, hold hands. So we'll start the water ceremony in about 20 minutes. One thing to keep in mind, most of you know these stairs. Everyone goes down on these stairs. The best of us go down on these stairs. If they're really slippery, the last 2 feet, take your time stepping in, stepping off, getting in, getting out of the water. Any questions in regards to the ceremony? 20 minutes? So great, let's get your wetsuit on, get your boards, and Ed Guzman is going to step up here and play a little harmonica as we're ending this.
It's the fabric that makes Santa Cruz cool, is all the wackiness.
What's your favorite Doc story?
God, put me on the spot.
Yeah, dude.
Lots of, did you ever hear a song that he did? His marijuana song?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't know the song, but it's on YouTube. I advise you look at the Reefer song.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing, and just an awesome character. He did so much for the kids, and I remember he sponsored me when I was like 12, was giving me free plugs, and when you're a little kid, that's like a big deal. You're all stoked, and he gave a lot of support to all the kids in my generations before, and generations before that.
Yeah,
I've been hearing from everyone here, and just an awesome guy, and one of the key character fabrics of Santa Cruz. Guys like him selflessly helping others, and just always happy and positive and optimistic, and transcending hopefulism to everyone.
Yeah.
And really stoked about surfing.
Yeah.
And sharing that with everyone.
Yeah, he insane.
Yeah, doggy.
Sizzle.
No,
want to poach.
Skin dogs. Peter, favorite Doc story?
Yeah, I got the first day. I just went out 2, and then I went out 10 more times.
Shoot, everyone's going to talk about this. No,
I just got back. I went up to Tahoe, down to
Or general impressions.
No, well, okay, so yeah, no, there's, I mean, the guy cruised the lane every Thursday, or every day, basically. But like, to be able to see him until all the way to the end, like, and every time I was going to see him, I was like, fuck, this might be the last time, you know? So I always made the moment to be able to, and he's sharp as a tack all the way to the end.
He had that fire in his eyes, even when he's super, towards the end.
Yeah, no, and he was late 90s, bro, so it was pretty gnarly. Anyway, he was sharp as a tack. He still remembered my name and everything, so I've been honored, really.
And why was he so significant for like all the kids around here growing up? You know, obviously he
transcended generations from the 60s all the way till today.
Yeah.
Right, like it was said, literally every generation, whether it's Dr. Earplugs or his contribution to competitive surfing to my dad, to me.
Yeah.
Like I got to surf dock events. My dad surfed dock events here.
Right.
Like that's he used to run the bus and he'd give us all PB&Js and he'd take us down. Took my uncles and everyone's all these stories about the bus they took down to Southern California. This thing was just like it's actually a tradition. I will say this tradition runs into board riders. Like we all cruise together as a group.
Yeah.
And it started from dock.
Right.
I just put that together.
Oh yeah.
Just now because
cool.
I'm like, we all cruise together. We all go run as a posse.
Yeah.
And like as our community, and we do it, and like, well, we're here. We take over lowers. We took over lowers the other night.
He was the ringleader.
Right? It's rad.
Yeah.
And he started that.
For sure.
And we all do that. And we kind of traditionally just go together. We drive together down there as a group, and that's. All of a sudden, Santa Cruz is like a force because you leave a message when you come like that.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty rad. So Doc did that.
Yeah. All right, Peter. Thank you, brother.
That was his biggest contribution to me.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny. What's up, buddy? Doc Scott in 4 sentences. He's all doing math. He's all fuck.
Doc's got a beautiful spirit with a positive outlook, selfless. I feel like he's the culture cultivist. He cultivated this whole culture, and we all are doing better for it.
Yeah.
That's it. The culture.
Sick. Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
What did Doc Scott mean to you in your life as a surfer here in Santa Cruz?
As I shared earlier, I moved to town in 1970, got a job with the Overland Brothers shaping surfboards. I was living in Santa Monica at the time, where I was born and raised. And I came up here, and I had no idea how beautiful and incredible it was. I was here in '69 to just surf Pleasure Point with nobody out, but it was pretty crazy. And I met Doc really soon after I moved here, and he goes, "Would you like to judge a contest?" And I go, "Sure, I've never done this before, but this sounds good." So I judged a contest, and I wasn't really into contests at the time. And so takes me under his wing, he feeds me. After surfing, we would go into his sauna, and it was just like, he was like a dad. He was like just this person that loved people and cared for them. And like I said before to everybody, he's got so much energy. He just was on it.
Yeah.
But he was a surf addict like most of us, but he wasn't a selfish man.
Right.
And so it made him really special because, as you know, the whole thing about surfing is if you want the best waves, you got to be a little selfish.
Totally.
You got to be a little aggressive.
Sure. Yeah.
And that wasn't him, but it paid off in his life. He did amazing things, as you heard today.
Yeah.
So his whole family was really cool. I was going to tell this story.
Janelle,
good to see you, buddy.
You're an animal, and you're one of the greatest surfers that ever lived.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, Pollywog.
Thank you. So anyways, I remember that Brenda and Jane were the only gals that surfed the lane, and they were just teenagers. And both of them were really good surfers, and it was really fun. We called Jane at the lane, and then Brenda was just also a great surfer.
Yeah.
And she made it international fame, won championships and all that. But the whole family, the other kids, the whole family was something special. That, like they say in Hawaii, my house, your house.
Yeah.
So that's the whole deal. You can come by anytime, get whatever you needed.
Water's not bad, huh?
Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
it feels good.
I've been wearing this 2 mil short sleeve for about the last month.
Nice.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
What the hell? So much easier to get in and out
For
of.
sure.
Hey, Biggie! Come to the donkey. Run on Rimbo.
There's an island across the sea, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, and it's calling, just calling to me. Beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai. In the midst of Fern Grotto, Mother Nature made her home. 'Neath the paws of Wailaua, where the lovers often roam. So I'll return to my isle across the sea. Beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, where my true love is waiting for me. Beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, beautiful Kauai, beautiful
Woo!